Hello everybody, Jediwarlock here and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we are returning to the world of Warcraft for the beginning of the end of the Azeroth's Deep Dive series. This is the first episode in the two-part finale where I will be swimming around the frozen continent of Northrend, domain of the Lich King. This region hosts many iconic locations and landscapes, but in this video I'm hopefully going to be showcasing some areas that you may not be familiar with, and unearth some long-forgotten underwater secrets. For this last journey, I'm going to be starting here in Milwaukee Harbor in southern Dragonblight, and I'll be returning here by the end of the second part. I want to thank all of you for your ongoing support and fun comments. I really appreciate hearing your theories and thoughts on my videos. So, with all that being said, let's get right into it and explore the oceans of Azeroth. Starting off by jumping into the harbor, one of the most striking differences from previous episodes is obvious along the edge of the underwater shelf. Instead of the sheer drop-off we have seen on the other continents, Northrend's shelf is jagged, a ribbon of sharp rocks, pillars, and seaweed that circles the continent. Kiliua Atoll and the briny pinnacle can be found close to our starting point, and after those two spots, a tranquil underwater plain led me to the Glittering Strand and the Surge Needle, where the blue dragonflight is trying to possess the latent arcane magic found in the Elven ruins. Not much else to be found in this half of the zone, but I do think the frozen delta on the western border is pretty cool. The Borean Tundra was far from boring on this adventure, and I first reached the village of Unupe, one of the first Tuskarr settlements heroes encounter in their travels. I even got to recreate Avatar: The Way of Water with this giant turtle, which was pretty neat. The glacial Njord's Breath Bay looks incredible underwater, with the rays of light and frozen walls, but the surface reveals a more violent story. The Tuskarr town of Cascala is under siege by the dreaded Kavaldir raiders, who we'll see plenty more of later. I even found a single Tuskarr fishing pole lost just offshore. Heading south around the peninsula, I next ran into a shipwreck that is home to Clam Master K, a gnome quite fond of shellfish. Just for fun, I kept a tally of all the shipwrecks on this journey, and I'll be updating the count at the end of each zone. The Alliance stronghold of Valiant's Keep is well fortified against Scourge attacks, but was more easily accessible by my single diver. Swimming underneath the docked icebreaker, I was rewarded with this hidden anchor located on the corner of the fortress. My character made it out unnoticed, but soon reached the most substantial aquatic area in the zone, the Riplash Ruins. Spanning the southernmost area of the zone, this sprawling ruin is of high elf origin, but fell into the control of the vile Naga and now the ghostly Kavaldir. An eerie fog blankets the location, courtesy of the invading mist sorcerers, and the sundered architecture combined with the atmosphere gives the spot a really unique feel. There is much to be seen underwater as well, namely a wide variety of ruins and pillars, but Leveroth, a giant kraken, can be found here also, imprisoned beneath an ice cap. That was about all I found here besides some of the Vrykul longboats, but the tour of this zone is far from over. Garrosh's Landing and the flooded settlement of Pelea are two more victims of the Kavaldir raids, and few have survived on the shoreline besides the invaders. A Horde warship can be found tipped on its side here, which I think is very interesting since, to my knowledge, it is the only one of its kind in Wrath of the Lich King. The rift between Borean Tundra and the frigid Caldara is home to some disturbing arcane activity, and I really like how you can see the collapsed bridge that once connected the two zones high above. Orcas can be found in the north near Glimmer Bay, which is bordered on both sides by corrupted and uncorrupted Murloc villages. The ruins of Eldranath sit on the cliffs above the bay, and Glurgle the Orca can be found protecting the northern edge of the zone. As a side note, I did spend a few minutes circumnavigating Koldara, but I didn't find anything in particular. Sholazar Basin, one of my favorite zones to cover on the channel, was next on the list, and the cliff walls began to turn a vibrant green due to the Titan magic of the region. Hemet-Nessingwari's boat, one of my favorite landmarks, was reachable from the coastline, and I spent a minute hanging out inside the wreck, wondering how this zone hasn't completely flooded yet. The Stormwright's Shelf, an elemental plateau with a rather aggressive lightning display, is found along the northern coast, as is the mouth of the Bittertide River, which, from prior knowledge, I know leads down to another hidden shipwreck. The northern lights were on full display as I moved into the freezing waters near Icecrown, capital of the Scourge. Onslaught Harbor offers up a brief, yet significant, threat of resistance in the Lich King's domain, but unfortunately is controlled by the fanatical Scarlet Crusade. The Crimson Haze and Corrupted Lightning shows off the malice of this faction that opposes both the living and the dead. In the waters nearby, there are some cool hammerhead sharks, and, if you can believe it, a giant anchor located on the far side. On the Icecrown facing side, there are 2 sunken ships, perhaps casualties against the Scarlets, or maybe caused by them. Not much farther, I came across a small rowboat by a path that led up to the Black Knight's camp, which is important for the Call of the Crusade questline. Perhaps the most forgotten zone in the entire game, Hrothgar's Landing is a small extension of Icecrown that marks the northernmost point in all of Classic WoW. In the channel connecting Icecrown to the island, fishing boats belonging to the Silver Covenant and the Sunreavers can be found, one with a shipwreck hidden beneath. There are also a couple of lifeboats moored on one of the smaller islands, with no elves to be found. Approaching the island proper, one can see the brunt of the Kavaldir fleet blockading the coast, spectral flames dancing aboard the ships. More fishing boats are being attacked here, with the raiders even calling upon the Krakens of the North Sea to aid in the assault. Quite a scary sight, especially for someone on a swimming adventure. On the shoreline, there are numerous other ships, presumably one belonging to Lord Hrothgar himself. The Kavaldir have ransacked the fishing village of Tualik, and there are no survivors on the isle. Despite the tragic story, I really do like the mystery and pure cold this area presents as the literal edge of the world, and I took the time to trek all the way up to the peaks of the area as my stopping point for this video. The halfway point took a little over 2 hours to reach, and I'm looking forward to sharing the second half of my journey and the final swimming adventure in the next episode. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below with your thoughts, subscribe if you're new to join the Jedi Order, and until next time, may the Force be with you.